if you guys know this, the ancient Greeks, they believed that men and women began on this earth fused together, literally fused, like walking around attached, their genitals attached to each other, like the beast with two backs, you know what I'm saying? And then we did something, we pissed Zeus off, and he split us down the middle with a lightning bolt, and now we're doomed to walk the earth forever, just searching for our soulmates. And of course, this makes me think of the praying mantis, because, now stay with me. The praying mantis, those big insects that go like this, they have sex for 8 days straight. They go about their business, they're just like constantly in coitus, 8 days straight. And at the end of the 8 days, the female praying mantis devours the wasted remains of the male praying mantis and lays her newly fertilized eggs inside his hollowed out skull. Because when you think about it, after 8 days of sex, where do you go from there, right? What, are you going to go see a movie? Anything you say is going to be awkward. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that just be great if that's how we could do it? If that's how we could have kids? Just be like, well, I really had a good time. It'd be fantastic. I had to break up with him, though, because he said for all intensive purposes. That's not right. I don't know if you guys know. That's not correct. All intensive purposes. That and, he was uncircumcised. And that wasn't really his fault at all. It was just that I'd never seen one before. And, like, I didn't know what to do with it. It was like slipping around my hand like a Chinese water balloon. I kept expecting it to just, like, shoot across the room. And he got super upset. He was, like, completely offended, you guys. He was like, well, you know, babe, for all intensive purposes, it's still a cock. I just want a guy who's circumcised and doesn't use malapropisms. Is that too much to ask? Here's a great thing about being in a relationship, though. Being in a relationship is great because you get to share a bed with somebody, you know? And the greatest part about sharing a bed with someone is the spoon. I just want to blow whoever invented the spoon. It's like the greatest thing on earth. And here's what's so great about it. It's so cool because it's intimate, but it's not like too intimate. Like your butt's up against his junk, you know, but like your breath isn't in his face. So you're like, it's like sexy, but it's not too sexy. And it's like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing, the spoon. Here's the one problem I have with the spoon. Once you've farted on a man's genitals, you entered a brave new world in intimacy. And you're never, it's like you're out of the garden completely. Like it's the end of innocence. You're never gonna get back in there. It's over, that's it. And the worst thing was, it's that like, I was trying to be girly, like it was like a sneeze fart. That was like, it was so, and worse than that is that he'd never seen me do that before. I had him convinced that I didn't fart. And now that he knows, I think he's gonna have to die. I don't know what. I mean, what am I supposed to do? It was, oh God, it was so embarrassing. You guys, my mom called me the other day, and she was like, "Oh, Jen, I figured out why you're such a fuck up." I was like, "Tell me, Mom, tell me." She goes, "You're an indigo child." Do you guys know about the indigo children? The indigo children are descendants from the dolphins and the whales, and they've come here, manifested themselves as human beings from the Sirius star, and they're here to bring joy and laughter and love back to the human race. And the indigo children are not very good with like everyday things in the world because they live in a very highly emotional state, and they're very sensitive, and they're here to save us. It's beautiful, right? I don't know if I actually am an indigo child or not, but here's what I do know. My mother would prefer I be an alien from outer space than a 29-year-old waitress with no children. That's what I know. That's what I know for sure. Just kidding. My mom and I are we're really, really, really close in age. And one of my favorite things to do, actually, is to watch my parents' wedding video, because it reminds me of a Charlie Brown special. And that's basically because there weren't any grown-ups there at all. All the bridesmaids were like 13. It was like if Schroeder knocked up Lucy and they had to get married. That was my parents. It could be called, It's a Shotgun Wedding, Charlie Brown. My favorite part is at the very end when the priest gives him the rings and he's like, wah, 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 wah. Good grief. My best friend, she has a little girl, her name is Caitlin. And I was over there the other day. Caitlin came home from school while I was there, and she was crying her eyes out because one of the boys at school had been teasing her. And let's see if you guys can guess what her mother said to her. She said, "Oh, sweetie, don't even worry about it. He's just being mean to you because he likes you. He's just being mean to you because he likes you." Women have been telling this to their daughters like since the beginning of time, right? And you know, really, what better way to ensure a future abusive relationship than to say that shit to your daughter, right? So I decided I was going to set little Caitlin straight. I was going to end the cycle of abuse. So I took her aside when her mom wasn't looking, and I was like, "Caitlin, sweetie, Mommy's a liar. Boys are not mean to you because they like you. They're mean to you because you're fat." I love kids. I don't think I'm going to have any because I'm barren. But, you know, every once in a while I get that feeling. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? That feeling like deep down in the pit of your being when you're like passing, the women probably know, like when you're passing the baby gap, you know, and you see those tiny little shirts in the window and those tiny little skirts and you're just like, "Oh my God, I've got to go on a diet."